He's an introvert, interviewing strangers from the internet, knocking down the walls of his comfort zone, one conversation at a time. This is the Gary Cantrell Podcast.
The Gary Cantrell Podcast, June the 3rd, 2020. Welcome back to another show. I'm so glad that you're here. And I know my guest today, Joe, will be very glad that you're here. But before we get there, let's first start off with my favorite people, the Patreon podcast producers. And they are Caitlin at Caitlin Elise. Put 3 Y's in her name 3 times. As awesome. Vanessa at Vanessa Ray's Journey. And Amanda at Mutts_and_Miles. These amazing people helping out the show. Patreon.com/Gary Cantrell is the way that you can do so and get access to this show 5 days early. I've had the messages. I've had the DMs. Gary, I'm all caught up. What am I supposed to do now? I'll tell you what you do. You go over to patreon.com/Gary Cantrell. Today is Wednesday. In 2 days, you will have the brand new episode of the Gary Cantrell Podcast delivered to you via your favorite podcast RSS feeder. 25% off the hard work always wins, merch store, all that goodness over at patreon.com/Gary Cantrell. All right, let's get this podcast rolling. Joe is somebody that I just met on the gram, and this guy just getting started on his journey. I thought it would be very, very cool to get the perspective of somebody just starting out. I want to see where his head's at. I want to hear his story. I want to hear it all. And Joe, I believe, based on what I've seen on Instagram, is just the man to tell me all these things. So let's go ahead. Let's get Joe on the line right now, and let's get this show rolling. Here we go. Hey, man, how are you?
Doing good, brother. Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Now, before we get too far, you prefer Joseph or Joe?
You can call me Joe, man. It's fine. JB, either one.
Right on. What part of the country are you in, Joe?
Buchanan, West Virginia.
Okay. Well, damn, man, you ain't that far. It's far, but I'm in Northern Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That ain't too far at all, man.
Yeah, well, because sometimes I talk to people, they're like, hey, I'm in California, I'm in Ohio, I'm in Florida, so, like, West Virginia, like, I can work with that. That's pretty close.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere, man.
Yeah, how do you like West Virginia?
Man, I was born in North Carolina, but I grew up here my whole life, man, and I've known from every time I leave, man, it's always home when you get back here. I wouldn't have it any other way, man.
Fair enough. So you were born in North Carolina, but what age did you move to West Virginia?
Oh man, I was probably just a baby, man. I was born in Lincolnton, North Carolina, and then I've lived here my whole life, really. Right.
So if you didn't know you were born in North Carolina, it's pretty much like you would have thought, you were born, raised West Virginia all the way.
Oh, West by God, man, always.
How old are you, Joe?
I just turned 32 in March.
Okay, so we're not too far off. I'm 37, going on 38. I'm hesitating as I say that because, goddamn, I feel old every time. But 32, if you want to trade, we can trade.
I feel it too at 32, man. I feel old as shit.
I know, man. Isn't that wild?
All the abuse we put our bodies through growing up.
I know, man. I know it. So, born and raised, I can't even talk. Born and raised West Virginia. What was your childhood like?
Man, I can't complain about my childhood. I grew up in the middle of nowhere, so my parents just always instilled in me to get out and work and still have fun. Grew up great, man. I can't have any better parents than what I got.
No, it sounds good. What kind of work were your parents in? Were they always around and all that good stuff?
Yeah, man. Parents were always around. My dad did coal mines, and he worked on satellite dishes, things like that. And my mom stayed, took care of us. And I really remember Mom going to work. I mean, before I was born and things, they were in nursing and things like that. And I remember Mom going to work for Walmart for a while when I was growing up, and then my mom's been with the post office now for, I'd probably say, close to 15 years, if not maybe a little longer.
Yeah.
And Dad's been delivering mail now probably for about the same.
No kidding. And so when you were a kid growing up, and I know you've said this a couple times now, growing up kind of in the middle of nowhere, like what do you do with your time as a kid, quote unquote, growing up in the middle of nowhere? I'm curious.
A lot of fishing, a lot of walking and playing in the creek, walking in the woods, getting with everybody and playing some like just backyard football. Like just depends on the day, but we spend a lot of time outdoors. I mean, Saturday morning, Mom and Dad want to clean the house. 8 o'clock, get your butt up and get outside.
I love that. You know, when you think about it, that's kind of like the ideal thing for a kid. I mean, guys like us in our time growing up, it's a lot better than kind of maybe what a lot of kids have now, where it's like, well, here's the Xbox, you know, here's all this stuff that you can do. Not that the Xbox is bad. I mean, I love a good Xbox, but
oh yeah, me too. But
right, but you know,
I mean, we didn't have that growing up. I mean, you had your Nintendo or whatever, but Saturday morning sunshine and get your ass outside and play.
Yes, I'm feeling it. No, that I was the same way, you know, but I was like an introverted kid, so it's kind of tough. I kind of kept to myself. I'd find things to do like alone and not necessarily with other kids, but that came later because eventually you eventually run into some kids, and even if you're not really ready to hang out with them, they're ready to hang out with you, and you kind of just get
Yep.
right. So you just get rolled right into it. So even growing up in the middle of nowhere, though, did you still have a lot of friends growing up?
I mean, yeah. I mean, a lot of the people that I grew up with, man, we were all around the same age. So, like, there was a bunch of kids just to kind of hang out and go fishing, play football, or whatever. I mean, where I grew up, though, like, we had no cell phone service. Like, one stop sign. There was a 50-cent pop machine, and that was, like, the biggest thing. And, I mean, a little later on, my mom and dad had a game room down for a little while. So everybody was there, played
Right.
pool and hang out. But I mean, literally you're 25, 30 minutes from a store. So, I mean, you're out in the middle of a holler somewhere.
So you're living essentially a country song.
Oh yeah, man.
And I
loved it growing up down there.
And I don't say that disparagingly whatsoever. I love some good country, but that, I mean, it sounds to me like, you know, you're talking about one stop sign. I mean, that sounds like some, like, I swear to God, I think like Brett Eldridge had a song about one stop sign or something like that. Like I could relate to that, to that extent. But, you know, when you think about it, one of the first things you said there was no cell phone service. Like, could you imagine what it would be like? A lot of these kids today, they would go nuts with no cell phone service.
Well, I mean, you know, I still have my niece lives down there, and nieces, and my nephew was just born, and like there's pretty much grew up down there, all my nieces and nephews, and you know, there's still like barely any cell phone service there. I mean, they have Wi-Fi, but it's still a lot of get outside, ride your bike, get outside, go fishing. I mean, now my nieces and nephews are living in Fort Campbell now, so I mean, it's a little different for some of my nieces and nephews, but
right.
When they're living down there, there ain't nothing else to do but get outside. I mean, we ain't gonna let you sit inside all day.
Yeah, man, that's I can remember so many summers, man, just going outside and running around like you didn't know what the hell was going on, but like, you know, maybe you get some toy guns, go run around the kids, play guns, or, you know, which sounds like crazy today. Nowadays, you think about playing guns, it sounds like some bad thing. You know, or you find some playground, and you just run around, you play tackle football, whatever, man. Those were the days.
Oh yeah, we had it was just an old football field from an old rundown school, and that was our playground. We didn't have a playground, nothing like that. It was just you go up to the field and play football. You can walk the creek, go four-wheeler riding, just whatever, man. I miss it. I really do miss living there.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a hell of a time. So, I mean, what about, like, when you're getting older, like high school and stuff, what was that like for you?
You know, it was about the same, man. I mean, it was still, you know, no cell phone service. I mean, I didn't have my first cell phone until I was probably like 16 years old.
Yeah.
And I used it when I was out of the holler at school or when I was working or whatever, but it was still kind of the same concept. I still had friends. We were all the same age. We still hung out. We played football. I mean, it was great growing up like that. I think more kids should be growing up like that, off the Xboxes and things like that.
Yeah. Now, when you say out of the holler, what does that mean? I gotta explain this to me, Joe. Tell me about this holler.
All right. Well, I grew up in a little town called Josephine, West Virginia.
Okay.
Josephine or Odd. It is literally middle of nowhere. So when you're out of the holler, you're either in Coal City because that's where you get service, or you get up to Gent and you have service. But you're down in the middle. I mean, when I say a holler, man, you got to go down the mountain. and
Right.
you're just down in the bottoms of the mountain. There's about 3 mountains there: Lillybrook, Tams, and Odd. You're just right in the middle of the bottom. So
Yeah. When I think of holler, I think of like Scott Steiner, Holler If You Hear Me, or, like you're trying to holler at some girls, or something like that.
oh no, man, it's in the hey man. Scott Steiner's great, but this is a different kind of holler, that's for sure.
I hear that, man. I hear that. What kind of activity? Now, did you get in any sports in high school or anything like that?
Wrestling, a little bit of football, but I was more into like wrestling and band. I was a drummer.
Nice.
And like I was fully consumed into music growing up.
Tell me about that music.
I still am, man.
Let's talk about it. I'm a big music guy. What kind of music were you into? What kind of music were you playing? And you said drums, right?
I play drums. I play guitar. I play bass. I play a little bit of everything.
Man, we're gonna have to hang out after this is done.
Man, I tell you, if my mom and dad would listen, if they heard the first Godsmack album, I think my mom and dad would probably just go into fits because me and my cousin would sit on the pool deck.
Yeah.
And we'd put the CD in and start playing the first track on guitar all the way through the whole CD, over and over and over again. I grew up with the love of it. My grandmother was a Southern gospel singer,
right.
Played guitar and could sing. And I mean, I'd give anything to hear her sing again because, man, that's where I got my love from. It was my grandmother, man.
No kidding, man. That's that's the thing too. The grandparents, man, they get into that stuff, and because you hang out with them a lot when you're younger, and they'll influence you. Like I remember my grandparents listening to some country music. Now I ended up going on to listen to like some rock and stuff like that, and then I got back into the country world. But hearing like some old Randy Travis, Oak Ridge Boys, all kinds of shit. I love it.
I guess it was a little different. My grandma, like I said, Southern gospel, so it was kind of the bluegrass gospel. But like my dad, I mean, grew up. It was like on a Saturday morning. You'd hear Bob Seger.
Yeah.
My dad's favorite song is Main Street by Bob Seger.
Okay.
So, bunch of Bob Seger. Mom's favorite bands growing up were AC/DC and Kiss. Hear a lot of 70s. Like I grew up with got a really great taste of music from my parents. I have to give them that. They started me on it young and haven't stopped.
I think our age is like that right time. Our parents were kind of like, they were in that 70s vibe, going to a lot of shows, probably smoking a lot of weed. It is 420 we're recording this on, by the way. I don't know anything about that, but I know my parents, they used to fuck with that heavy. And so, they go to the concerts.
I've heard concerts. My mom's thought. I've heard about going to the Loverboy concert. Just a bunch of things like that.
Right. So you were in high school, you're playing in the band, you're playing some drums, playing some guitar. You were just all about it.
Oh, yeah, man. I still am, man. I still want to play guitar, try to play guitar about every day, every other day, thing like that.
Nice. What are you playing these days? Like if you go to play like some music, what are you trying to play? Your own stuff, some other stuff?
I play a little bit of my own stuff, not too much. I still get with like some Everlast, What It's Like is probably one of my go-tos that I really like to play.
Right.
Spoken to Will by Black Label Society. I mean, I'm all over the map though, because I'll play country, I'll play Johnny Cash, but I'll play everything to Slipknot. So it just really depends on the mood and the day.
No, I feel you, man. That's really where it comes from. Like some days you might wake up and be in the mood for Metallica. The next day you might be in the mood for some like Thomas Rhett or some shit, and like
all over the place. And then I get in my mood. I want some Kevin Gates, Lil Wayne, things like that too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm everywhere, man. I'm everywhere.
No, I like that. I think with music, you got to be open-minded. I don't know what you've seen, but like I could tell you, I go online sometimes, you see people like tweeting or like talking to message boards, like talking shit like, oh, this music or that music, it sucks. And I'm like, man, you got to keep an open mind. You don't have to like everything, but just try to keep an open mind about stuff because there's so much music out there,
I wound up as a bouncer for a music venue for a while, and I've met so many of these artists that I grew up listening to, man, and it's just amazing.
Who's the one you met that blew your mind the most?
Oh, man. Spider from Powerman 5000, Rob Zombie's brother, was
nice.
Awesome. ICP, man,
You met them?
Man, I did their security. I helped set up their whole stage show. Man, they were such cool people, man. Just a lot different than what you think they are. They're just really down-to-earth dudes.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had your greats, and then you've had people that were just assholes, too. So
Man.
But man, that really blew my mind meeting ICP as a kid. You know, they were always like hide that from your parents because they didn't want to listen to it.
Yes. Dude, I
Drowning
hear
Pool
you.
was the other one.
Drowning
was
Pool,
the other
yeah.
one. Oh yeah, we partied with them guys after the show. Like it was a fun time.
Now, was that with their old singer, the one that passed away?
Oh no, but I wish it was, man. Oh, I wish it was.
Dude, funny.
Their new singer, man, he's really cool, man. He was a cool dude.
Yeah, no, I still think they sound good, but I'll tell you this, I almost saw them with the original lineup, but they were going to play, I think it was Ozfest back in, I think he passed away like 2002, and he actually passed away in Virginia. Like they were coming to play the date I was going to, and he passed away like the night before or something, man. It really sucked.
Oh, man. Yeah, I would have been upset about that.
Yeah, I think he passed away on a bus out in like Manassas somewhere, Manassas, Virginia, which is just a shithole of a place to do anything really, but...
well, I guess I'd say Ryan McCombs from Soil too was another one because he sang for Drowning Pool as well. But
nice.
Bobby Burns, I got to meet Bobby Burns, but he was the bass player for Soulfly.
Right.
Oh man, I'm still friends with Bobby. Like I still talk to him all the time. I've made some good friends through that. That's for sure. But like I said, you're never any sort of assholes when it comes to that music stuff either.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably met a few people that probably rubbed you the wrong way.
David Allen Coe.
Wow.
Dick. And the rapper Juicy J. Asshole.
Yeah.
No, Chris Jericho was cool the first time I met him.
You met Chris Jericho.
Oh yeah, I've done Fozzy security a couple times.
Oh man, get the fuck out! Now I'm jealous. I'm big now. You know, you said a lot of great names, but you start mixing that rock and wrestling world, and now because I know you mentioned wrestling earlier.
I'm a big wrestling fan too, man.
Oh
I think I've seen you on there with the KO shirt on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, you hung with Jericho, man. I'm jealous. Got a little bit of that bubbly. I love it.
Man, he stepped on my cell phone. I'll never forget it. He climbed on top of some speakers and he stepped on my cell phone.
Oh my God.
I'll always remember that.
But it's Jericho. It's like, how do you get upset? You're like, fuck it, I'll buy a new phone. I mean, Chris Jericho stepped on my phone.
It was right before I actually started bouncing there for the first time I seen him. And I was like, fuck it. It's Jericho. I'll buy a new phone. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. No, I hear you. That's crazy. How long you been watching wrestling?
Oh man, just as a kid, man. As a kid. I've been watching wrestling off and on. I got out of it for a long time.
Yeah.
Just at least a good little while. And then my son got into it a little bit. And it just really got me back into it. And I've been hooked ever since again, man. It just re-sparked the love I had when I was a kid.
Right. I think a lot of us, man, like we watched when we were younger, you kind of watch it through the rose-covered glasses, like everything's awesome, everything's great. I think after the Attitude Era, a lot of people dropped out. I mean, that's kind of a fact, like the ratings just absolutely plummeted. But, I think nowadays, without getting too nerdy about it, because I know we'll lose some people here, but I will say this. I think nowadays the time is like prime for wrestling again. There's a lot of good stuff. AEW's around with Jericho.
AEW is killing it, man.
Dude,
AEW is killing it.
They are crushing. They were in West Virginia. Were you at that show?
No, man. I wish I could have went. I have friends that went.
Yeah.
I have my friend Derek. He went to like the very first pay-per-view.
Yep.
In Chicago. Like he's been to a bunch of them, and I actually have friends of mine that have their own wrestling podcast, and they talk weekly about wrestling. And
no kidding.
Actually, my old boss actually has a podcast with Shane Douglas.
Shane Douglas.
Oh yeah, franchise with Shane Douglas, man. And my friend Brian Resner, he was my boss when I was working at the bar bouncing. And he does a weekly podcast with Shane.
That's insane.
Yeah, man. I've met a lot of these wrestlers too when I was doing that because we sponsored wrestling shows, and he always had Ricky Morton and Brutus the Barber Beefcake was in there. And I've met Marty Jannetty. I've met all kinds of people, man.
You ever met the Honky Tonk Man?
No, I didn't met the Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah, he and I we have a little bit of history. I don't know. One day we're gonna have to make amends. I don't know.
Man, actually, one of the wrestlers that got the worst, one of the worst things of like people hate him, but was one of the best people I've ever met was Ken Kennedy, man.
Oh, you met Kennedy.
Mr. Anderson. Oh man, I've got a picture of him like choking me at my bar.
That's awesome.
He was one of the most down to earth dudes there was.
No, I get that vibe from him a lot. Who would you say? I mean, obviously, I know you mentioned Jericho. Is he the biggest star you've ever met?
Jericho's one of the biggest. When I was a kid, I met. There were a few wrestlers there. I met Ric Flair one time.
Woo!
I met him at a wall. He was signing autographs at a Walmart.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I say probably Ric Flair.
Yeah, he's a nice guy too. I had him sign a belt for my stepdad, and I said, "Hey Rick, do you mind making a video? I have my phone; it's already ready." It was for his birthday. Like he had no idea. And
oh man, that's awesome.
And I asked Rick, I said, "Hey, do you mind if I get a video? Would you mind just saying happy birthday?" He said, "Yeah, it's not a problem." He said happy birthday, and he did the woo at the end, and I was like, that just made the whole video. Forget the happy birthday. The fact that he added the woo and he didn't have to do that, that blew my mind.
Yeah, my mom now, she was into wrestling whenever she was growing up too, and Ric Flair was her favorite.
Yeah,
dude. And then my great grandma, you couldn't tell her that it was fake or anything like that because she would not take that well. So I've been into it my whole life, man. I really growing up, man, I was a huge Sting fan. I loved Sting when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, he was awesome. He was definitely a big star. What? So you mentioned you got into wrestling in high school as well. Like you were doing the high school wrestling.
Yeah, man. I think I started wrestling like 7th grade. Wow. It was just something different, man. And I met a lot of good friends through that. I've listened, my coach, he went on to teach wrestling, coach wrestling at like Edinburgh University,
right,
and Edinburgh High School, and a couple of the guys that I wrestled with, Adam, he went on to wrestle for like Oklahoma. There's a kid that came out of our high school this year. Well, I think he's in his sophomore year now. Same high school I went to, the same wrestling program, and he Big 12 Wrestler of the Year. Noah Adams, he's going at big time at WVU.
Right.
And, just an animal.
Dude, you ever mess up and throw like a clothesline or something while you're doing the high school wrestling?
Oh no, man. I wish chair shot, something like that would be fun sometimes. But
no, that would have been a lot of fun. Did you ever dabble like on the actual like pro wrestling side? Like ever try to just like get into it or like backyard wrestling or anything?
Yeah. Actually, I went out and used to hang out with some friends that went to West Liberty University there, and they had a pro wrestling club, and I went in there and I worked out with them guys some, and my old roommate was from Michigan, and he was actually into doing pro wrestling shows, and Chris Jacobs was another guy up there. He's actually pretty big on the indie circuit around Michigan.
Right.
The Cowboy Chris Jacobs, man. The best suplexes I've ever seen.
Man, that is awesome. So, man, I'm just trying to figure out like how we're not like best friends already, because you got the music, you got the wrestling.
Oh, man, we already are, don't you know?
It's happening, brother. It's happening.
It's happening, bro.
It's happening right now, and I think we literally met like less than a week ago on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
So
Broserweight, man, right away.
Oh, now that's a reference I love. I mean, you got Pete Dunne. Who, by the way, Pete Dunne is an amazing talent. I didn't know much about British wrestling. God, I cannot talk today, Joe. British wrestling. I didn't know a damn thing about it. And then back in 2017, they did the UK tournament, and I saw like Pete Dunne and Trent Seven and Tyler Bate. These guys blew my mind. And then you got Matt Riddle, who I actually met in a deli in New York, who was super cool. You got the bro, and that's like, it's like the Odd Couple, but it's amazing. It definitely works.
It works so well, and man, I love Pete Dunne. Such a tough dude to be a little guy. And when it comes out of the UK, man, I can't get no better than Walter, dude. I don't know why I like him so much. You
gotta say it. You got to say it with or Volter. A lot of them, they have like different ways they say it. It's I love it. I do a terrible accent, but I love the way that they say it. Volter.
Oh yeah, man. I never thought I would get into that, but man, I just love it.
No, man,
It's
I
just like
feel
a
you.
more physical to me.
That dude works stiff too. Walter, he is a stiff guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Man, it looks like he's somebody out there working with Vader, man, just a stiff.
oh my God,
Stiff
Vader! Don't even get me started on Vader, man. That guy, he was a stiff worker for sure.
Oh, that's for sure, brother.
People are like,
For
"What
sure.
the hell are they talking about? Stiff and throwing punches? What are these guys talking about?" I love it though. I get wrapped up in that stuff. Let me tell you.
Oh, me too, bro. Me too. I can talk about it forever.
But as I mentioned, we got connected on Instagram. I seen that you found me. Now, were you just searching like hashtags, or like how did you come across my page?
Yeah. I was just looking up like weight loss journey people and just trying to get some inspiration and stuff, man. And come across a couple other people too, man. And it's been nothing but love for sure.
That's the one thing I love about this community is that you'll get a lot of love and support, and you'll notice once this podcast drops now. Well, I record ahead, Joe, so like we're recording this on April 20th. This thing's going to drop in like June, but you will notice that the people, man, they love to just support everybody. That's what I love about this community. And when you reached out, I'm like, man, we gotta connect. And I thought that this would be a great thing because you posted, I want to say about a week ago that you were just starting out on your journey. And I want to talk about that, but I wanted to get the perspective of somebody who's just starting out because a lot of the times I get people on here and they've been on this thing for a while, and it's kind of fun to hear about the journey of how it all started to where they got now. But I really wanted to hear it from somebody who's just getting started, wanted to hear where your head's at and all that stuff. But before we get there, tell me a little bit about kind of how we got to where you're at now. What is your starting weight for the weight loss journey?
Man, I'd been walking probably. I've been taking my dogs out. That's how it started, man.
Yeah.
I just started walking my dogs every day, and with my job too, like I have to go do custodian work at another office, and it's a huge office.
Yeah.
And I realized how much I was actually walking per day, and I was just started trying to walk that every day, and then I went up here because I didn't have a scale, and I was just trying to figure out a way I can get my weight. And the day before Easter, I had went to the Kroger's up here, and they have a big scale in the back. And I just talked to one of the guys and said, "Hey man, can I just walk back here and stand on your scale so I get my weight?" He's like, "Yeah man, come on." And I went back and got my weight, and it's kind of where it started at.
Okay. What was the number that you saw on the scale when you stepped on it?
523.3.
All right. Let's talk about life at 523. And how do we get to 523? Because it sounds like, when we're talking earlier, you're like, I'm a kid, I'm running outside, I'm playing football, I'm doing wrestling, I'm playing in music. How do we get to the 523? Man,
I've always been the big kid. Always. I've always been the big kid, the big friend growing up. I was always the big guy, man.
Right.
And, there for a while, I was going to the gym 5 days a week when I was bouncing. I was going 5 days a week with the guys I worked with. But the problem was I wasn't doing cardio. I wasn't walking. It was just, let's go to the gym. Let's just pump weights.
Right.
And then I got to the point to where I met my wife, and I sat down and I was working at a call center, man. And it was like, I didn't have time. I was doing 12 hours a day or so at a call center, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. And it was just like mentally and physically exhausting. You just sat there in front of the computer screen all day and you don't want to do anything when you got home. And it just become a pattern day after day. And it just, and then, before you realize it, man, you get shirt size bigger or pants size bigger. And, you just not like who you're seeing when you're looking at yourself in the mirror. And, I got with the post office and I was doing both jobs for a while. And I felt like I was losing some weight when I was at the post office. And then I felt like I was gaining weight here and there. And a lot of it didn't really start till I got married, really. I met my wife and just working at a call center every day, man. And you're sitting in front of a computer screen and you're just snacking all day. And not doing anything.
Yep.
Not doing anything.
I hear you, man. I completely can understand how that works. And plus, too, when you get together with somebody, you're like wanting to go out and eat and hang out. And then, especially sitting in front of a computer, they're that boredom sometimes sets in. You're like, okay, well, let me cure the boredom with some snacking and stuff like that. And before you know it, the pants are getting a little tight, the shirt's getting a little tight. That's kind of where I've been at here in the last month or so with this whole damn virus thing going on. But, so I could definitely relate, man.
And, yeah, man, and you fall into that pattern of, you do the same thing every day, 6 days a week. And then, you're on one day and you're like, well, I just want to sit and chill out. I don't want to sit, I just want to chill out, or let's go out and grab something to eat, or, so it's just like that. And then you're not thinking about what you're eating. You're just going out, well, let's go get a nice big burger, or, some barbecue or whatever. And you're not thinking about what you're eating. You don't care what you're putting in your body at this point.
Well, makes perfect sense, dude. And, what would you say is the thing that you ate like the most of? Like some people say like Taco Bell or McDonald's, or like was any of those places, or was it just regular eating, or like what was the thing?
Man, when we first moved in together, it was a little Chinese joint around the corner, man.
Yeah.
And man, it was just good Chinese food. I mean, we ordered it there, and then pizza and wings were the other thing.
Oh yeah, pizza. Whew.
Pizza, wings, and Chinese food, bro.
That'll do it.
Especially when it's good pizza.
God, dude. What? Okay, now you got to tell me, like, what's your favorite pizza?
Oh man, I'm not too crazy. Pepperoni sausage, onions, banana peppers.
You got to throw. I love that you said that, Joe. I love that you said the peppers and the onions. Like people sometimes look at me like I have 6 heads. I'm like, look, I like the green peppers, I like the onions, banana peppers, like sometimes mushrooms if they're finely chopped up, like. Some people, they look at me like I'm crazy.
I'm allergic to mushrooms. So I can't eat them, but I like them, but I can't eat them. I just get sick if I eat them.
But you got to have a little bit of that crunch of the peppers. I think that adds something to a good pizza.
I don't want a pizza without peppers on it, honestly. So that's
what I'm talking about. So, I mean, what is like a day in the life of somebody at 523? Like, you wake up, are you in a lot of pain day to day? Like, tell me about like just the average day in your life at 523.
Man, 523, you wake up. I'm not in a lot of pain. Sometimes I'll get a little bit of knee pain.
Right.
Maybe you have trouble sleeping. It's just, it's taxing on your body all day long. I mean, you're carrying around 523 pounds.
Yeah.
You don't have the energy. It's just, it's bad, man. You don't want to do anything. You just don't have the drive. Like I said, man, you just get up. You just feel tired all the time. And it's just, man, it ruins your day, honestly.
Yeah. How about your breathing? Do you have any problem with the breathing?
I have sleep apnea real bad.
Yeah.
Stop breathing here and there in the sleep. But you get winded easy. I can tell the difference between now and last summer for real.
Right.
Now that I'm going on everything, but yeah, man, 523 is rough, man. Double the deodorant, man. You're a big dude, so double the deodorant, double the shower
100%.
time.
Yep.
Like, I might be a big dude, but I still smell good.
The thing about that is, I'll tell you, double deodorant, definitely. What I loved, like one thing you'll see about like going to the gym and stuff is I like to get a good shower at the gym, plus the one I got in the morning before I went to work. So 2 showers in a day, like makes a big guy feel very happy.
Oh yeah. That's my favorite time of day, man.
Yes.
Favorite time of the day.
I'm feeling you, man. So 523, you're just getting started. Now was it getting on the scale there at the Kroger? Was that kind of the defining moment, or did you kind of have feelings before, or what was the deal there?
Man, I'm going through a separation with my wife, and
sorry to hear that.
Like, man, it's been rough. It really has been, but I'm trying to take all the negativity and all the emotion and everything and just put it for focus and drive, because I feel like that my weight has really killed it killed my marriage, man. My wife, she had a debilitating back injury back in August, and
right.
I really had to step up more around here doing everything more. Because I will say, I got complacent, you get lazy, and my wife, she got the back surgery, she can't walk there for a while. She's doing a little better now.
Yeah.
She's walking with a cane and things now. She can't go back to work yet, but I mean, my wife liked to get out and hike. My wife liked to do, just go do things. And, at 523 pounds, I mean, you go jump off the boat. Well, it's hard for you to get back out of the water onto the boat. Or can you go hiking for 2-3 miles? Or, it just killed my marriage. And then, she left, and it was just kind of like, man, you really got to get your ass in gear. You got to change your life.
So
you've got to do something.
So that was kind of the match that struck the fire right there. Yeah,
man. And, it's just more or less, man, I want to prove her wrong. I want her, year down the road, I want her to look at me and just be like, damn, that's what I walked out on. And, I want that. I want to be a better person, man. I want to be a better man. And that really made me realize it.
Well, no, I hear what you're saying there, but I think ultimately, man, you really want to do it for you, right? More so than 100%. Anybody else.
Oh yeah, 100%, 110%, brother. I want to live past 40. I mean, I've got a son that's 8 years old. I want to see him graduate high school. I want to see my nieces and nephews graduate high school.
Yeah.
I want to be there for him growing up, and I want to do it for myself. I want to do it for I want to do it for myself, but everyone from my family will benefit from it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, that whole thing about, I want everybody to see and prove people wrong. Like, I love that. I think that'll ignite a fire. But I think at the core, when you're starting out, it really comes down to doing it for you, and all that other stuff is kind of like the result of what you're doing for yourself, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 100%. I want to do it for me. And, I mean, you got to want to do it to make change. Like, you can't say you want to do it and not actually do it. I know a lot of people, man, I used to be that way. I want to lose weight, man, but you don't do nothing about it. You got to get your ass in gear and do something.
Well, I'm sure you probably sat around 100 times and said, damn, I really got to do something, but maybe you just weren't ready yet.
Yeah, man. And my wife leaving, and it just really threw me emotionally. And I realized how much I've been walking. So I started walking more and more and more.
Yeah.
I've been trying, I got this trial of DDP yoga.
Yes.
I made it through the Diamond Dozen yesterday without stopping.
Oh, I love it.
It felt great. Felt so good. I felt accomplished just by getting through the Diamond Dozen without even stopping.
Well, you know what I like about that, Joe, is like, Dallas has this program where really anybody can do that. There are some people that are bedridden that cannot get out of bed. There are some people that, cannot stand and do certain poses. The fact that you did the Diamond Dozen, at your size is incredible.
I did it with the chair.
No, that's good though.
I will say I did it with the chair, but I did the whole Diamond Dozen. I didn't stop. I stayed with it the whole time. I only used the chair if I felt like, I needed that stability. I tried to do as much without the chair as I could.
I got to ask you this. Do you know a guy I know you're just kind of getting started with the Instagram. Have you found Chase yet? Chasing My Change?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm going to connect the two of you. I'm going to, when we get done with this thing, I'm going to DM you his thing. I'm going to send him a DM so he knows you're coming, but he's another guy who was at a very big size. I want to say he was 500 plus or pretty close to it. And he did his journey so far, like pretty much solely on DDP yoga, and has seen some phenomenal results. And I think you guys would connect really well. But the DDP, I love that you're getting into that, because here's the thing. At a big size, there's only so much you can do. You can't just say, I'm going to start just running and start hauling ass, because then the next thing you know, your ankle gets blown out or your knee gets blown out.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't want to do too much too fast. So when you're like, dude, I popped in this DDP yoga, I'm like, that's probably one of the best things that somebody at your size could do, because it's low impact and you're going to get high results.
And like I said, I did it with the chair, but I only used it when I needed it, man. And it, I say that his Cobra, it was probably what got me the worst.
Yeah.
The Cobra.
Oh, yeah.
And just because I had to put so much back on my ankles, but I mean, I could feel it in my ankle for the rest of the day, but then like today I woke up and it felt good. So I mean, I felt great, man. I did a couple of the breathing exercises and things like that yesterday. I did about an hour of yoga, and it was just great.
Yeah, yoga is it's low impact, high results, and just, and you're already talking about the way you feel when you're done. It's just incredible. It's one of the things I'm doing a lot now, especially with us being in our homes a lot more, because the gyms are closed. But when the gym comes around, I love to get on like the elliptical or the treadmill, or like I got my whole start just walking on a treadmill And, luckily you got a lot of nature there. So you're just walking outside with the dogs. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, man. Well, I live in the middle of the suburbs, but we just take the dogs and I just go for blocks, man. Just walk one way, go down a couple blocks, turn left, keep going. You know what I mean? Now, when I was in the gym, man, battle ropes was my thing, man. I used to do cardio workout on battle ropes, man, and it was just, I loved it. I love battle ropes.
Those things will knock the shit out of you. They'll knock the shit out of you, let them.
They'll wear you out.
No, man, I agree. Those things, I was like, oh, it's just ropes. You just swing them around. Like, how hard could this be? And then, like, yep, like a minute later, you're in it. Like, your heart rate shoots up to 150, 160.
Go 45 seconds on, like 10, 15 seconds off, 45 seconds. Man, it kicks your ass.
Dude, I feel it for sure. But, the yoga is a great start. Is that pretty much, other than the walking and the yoga, is that pretty much what you're doing now to start out?
Well, man, I've really been doing, watching what I intake, portion control. I'm trying to stay away from anything that's like processed canned foods.
Right.
So just straight vegetables, fruit, meat, cheese, one ingredient things, man. I got connected with a guy, Steve Shaw.
Okay.
And he's been helping me. Like, I have to send him pictures of everything I eat every day and trying to help me count calories, things like that. Just really trying to stay on track with it.
You got an app for that, like a MyFitnessPal or something?
No, I haven't yet. He's really helping me out until I get a little more, because I've never done that. Like, I've worked out and stuff in the past. It's just I've never counted calories. I've really greened all that.
I would say, green. That's funny. That's like a wrestling term. Like that kid was green in the ring. I love that, man. God damn, I love it. What I would say is MyFitnessPal, it's a free app, completely free, no strings attached. And basically you can log everything that you eat. You put in your size, your height, your age, all that stuff. And it'll say, we recommend this many calories a day. And obviously it'll probably put you like really high, like 2,800, which we don't, nobody wants to eat that many calories in a day necessarily.
No, man, that's crazy.
But you put it in, and what I tell people, even if you have a bad day, because you're just getting started out, and I guarantee you might be on a roll right now, you might be feeling good, but you're going to have one day or two in there where you're going to be kind of, you're going to be feeling off a little bit. But I always say, like, track everything, even if it's good or bad, and then you know exactly what you're putting in, and you can kind of get a good idea of what you're having.
Oh, yeah. I haven't hit those bad days. I kind of figured I would with, like, it's like the depression thing from my wife leaving, man. It's really, there's days it really gets to me, but I just push on through it, man. I just have to.
No, I trust me, man. I get it, and you're definitely going to have those days for sure.
I went through the drive-thru yesterday with my friend Travis, and man, he's like, man, I just want to get me a big old burger. I'm just like, oh, that sounds so good, but just give me the salad.
Yeah.
Just give me the salad, because I want the burger. Don't get me wrong. I would love to have it, but I just can't. I've stayed off the diet soda. I have one diet soda a day. I've kicked all regular soda. I'm down to eating like whole wheat, gluten-free bread, like 2 little slices of toast for in the morning.
Right.
No wraps. No pastas. That kills me being a fat boy, man. But
oh yeah,
gotta
love
do
the
it.
pasta. Well, once in a while, you just sneak it in. They actually have some pastas not too bad for you. You slide it in once in a blue moon, and I think you'll be okay. How about the water? How's that going for you?
Oh, dude, that's about all I drink, man.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing I drink.
I'd say
I'll take an occasional like Bang Energy or something here and there, but
sure.
Mostly water, man.
Yeah.
No, I did find I think it's Rockstar made it, so the Rockstar Thermo.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm telling you now, that gets you feeling going, brother.
I haven't had that yet.
Oh man, it'll get you going, that's for sure.
Wake you up, get you out of bed.
I hit that again.
No worries. So yeah, no, I think that's great. I think you're off to, a great start. It's just, trying to keep the momentum going, trying to keep your head clear, that's, all these things. And, you're going to have a bad day or two here and there, but other than that, you just keep on rolling, man.
Oh yeah, man. I focused, I did, I actually did my weight this morning for the first time. Is it 514.4?
Yeah.
Um,
That's awesome.
So I'm almost right there, about 9 pounds.
Right.
Feeling good, man. Just try to stay positive anyway.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm going to keep doing more and more every day. And I'll tell you, the difference it feels actually when you're eating right and going out and getting your exercise every day is just unbelievable how much more energy I have in the day.
Oh,
like it's 8:45 right now, man, and I'm still jack wired right now. I'm not used to it, man. I'm just not used to it.
Yeah, it's hard to shut it down because, like, you're like, man, I got to go to bed. I got to get this rest because rest is key. But, you feel so jacked up from the day. You got your exercise. Everything's clicking. Sometimes it's hard to get to bed.
Man, yesterday. I took yesterday as my rest day, and even I did one on Thursday, and it's like even on my rest days, I'm still hitting 5,000 steps, and I'm like, well, I still went like 2.5 miles on my day off. Like,
That's
awesome. I didn't expect it, but it just happened, and I'm getting a lot of support from not only people on Instagram, but I have friends and family too that's really supportive. I honestly don't know where I would be right now. Some friends are out here right around the road, Carl and Brittany. I don't know where I would be without them right now. They've been kind of my support system here.
Yeah.
Because I did move here for my wife, and I only have a handful of friends here. Most of my family live about 2 hours away in southern West Virginia. And they've been a big help. My brother-in-law, he's in the military, so there's an app that he has, and I can watch his runs, and he can watch my walks, and just motivate me to see like GPS track me on my walk, and it's been supportive, man. It's been great.
Yeah, the technology is key, with all the apps, tracking the workouts, and even just something simple like taking pictures. I always tell people, like, even if you don't share all of them, take them for you and, set up the timer. I know you're an iPhone guy. You're a very smart guy. Put on the timer and, set it for like 10 seconds, step back, and then get that full body. Even if you don't post it, just keep it for you. It'll keep your mind in the right spot, because here's the thing that you're going to learn pretty quickly. This scale is not necessarily your friend. The numbers, it's fun to watch it go down, but if it goes up, it even if you're on track,
it feels a little discouraging.
Exactly. So, I would recommend definitely taking lots of photos and even some measurements if you can. Take some measurements in there, because that scale is not always going to reflect what is actually going on, because underneath you're doing all these great things, but maybe you didn't take a dump, or maybe right before.
I know what you mean. I think one of the guys that I've seen from one of the DDP yoga things, the guy Vance, guy lost like 198 pounds in a year. And that's what he was like. He would watch his weigh-ins, and he'd go down, and then he'd go back up. And you just looked at him, man. He's really inspiring, because he never let it discourage him once, man.
No, he's still rolling too. Do you follow him on Instagram?
Oh, I know. Oh yeah, man. He looks great, man.
Yeah,
so almost 200 pounds in a year, dude. That is insane.
That is definitely insane. He was actually on this podcast January of 2019. Great guy.
Oh man, I've watched his videos so many times, man, and it's just a lot of these guys from those DDP yoga, man, they're such inspiring guys, man.
You got to check out they have a Facebook group as well. A lot of good people in there.
I think the one guy too, his name was Slim. Slim, like a big, he's over 500 pounds. He played like guitar in a band and lost so much of that weight, man. It's crazy. Very inspirational, man.
Yeah, they got a hell of a community over there. DDP Yoga. This is not paid advertisement whatsoever. I just love their product. I think they got a good thing going.
Oh, yeah, man. I've seen it for so long, and then I finally got this trial and things, and I'm waiting on my debit card so I can just buy the full version, but I'm just waiting on my debit card.
Yep. Yeah.
But the trial, man, and it's just great. Motivational Monday's been like awesome. The cooking things on the app, I mean, it's all great.
It's the whole package. Dallas, he's so down to earth, and he really makes it, like he always says, make it your own. And I love that, because there's so many times where you see these other workout programs and like, okay, this is exactly how you do it. And then you try to do it, and then you fail sometimes because maybe you can't hit a move or something, and you feel discouraged. But he tells you, make it your own. If you can't do it this way, here's 2 or 3 other ways that you can try, and I guarantee at least one of them you can probably do. So it's like you feel better, you feel more encouraged, you feel like you can actually accomplish something, which is great.
Yeah, man, and like yesterday, I felt accomplished. Once I finished the Diamond Dozen, man, I was on a high because it was just like I actually done that. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's a great program, and I like the dynamic resistance because you can really, as he talks about, hulking it up. It's like, man, you can really get your heart rate up quick, the way that you do it.
I was sweating, brother. I was sweating my ass off, man. It ain't no joke. I never thought that yoga you could have your heart rate jacked like that. But I was wrong.
That's the thing too. You think yoga, you think, oh, it's so easy, it's so light, it's not gonna have a big effect, but man, that thing will kick you right in the gut, man.
Oh, 100%, man. 100% it kick you square in the gut.
You'll have to post some stuff on DDP Yoga on the Instagram and tag Dallas. He's active. He will either repost a lot of stuff or he might even reach out. He's that authentic with the people that are doing his program. Man,
and I'll tell you right now, one of the things that really got me in gear is I listened to it about 4 times in a day. Was he has the video "Living Your Life at 90%."
Yeah,
and man, that dude is such an inspiration.
His book was awesome. I don't know if you've seen his book yet. He just put out last year.
I've not got to read it, but man, I look forward to reading it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I got so much value out of the book, and I'm not a big book reader. I'm more of an audiobook guy, so I listened to the audio. He actually narrated the thing himself, and I was like, man, this is so freaking inspirational.
Man, he just seems that kind of guy. He just seems such a genuine guy, man. And it's, you can tell it just that he cares about everybody that he comes in contact with like that.
Oh, 100%. So tell me this. So you're just getting started. You're doing the yoga. You got your walk in. You're watching what you eat. Now tell me like some of your long-term goals. I mean, what do you want to do with this whole thing other than the obvious lose weight?
I said once I dropped the weight, man, I would kill just to get down. One of the biggest things for me that I really want to do with my life is I want to be able to get down to a weight where I can go skydiving, brother.
Yes.
That has been a dream of mine since I was a little kid. I want to go jump out of a plane. And I know you have to be around 250 pounds to do it safely.
Yes.
Man, I want to go jump out of a plane, brother. I want to go that or bungee jumping, one of the two.
Yep.
I want to do that so bad. I want to be able to ride a roller coaster again, man.
Yes.
As a kid, that's things. I want to go ride a roller coaster again. There's so many things I want to do that my weight keeps me back from, but it ain't going to keep me back from anymore.
Damn right. It's funny you mentioned the skydiving. I had that as a goal in my first year, and I was kind of focused on the numbers, and it got in my head, and it really fucked me up. But that still is a goal that, in the future I definitely want to do when I get down to that 250 range. But the roller coasters, I can identify. That's one of my favorite things to do is the roller coasters. Now, do you guys have like a big roller coaster around you guys?
Man, I wish. Around here, you got to go to a lot of times. Well, growing up, we'd always go to Carowinds in North Carolina.
Yes.
Then there's like Cedar Point was another one that was pretty close. Busch Gardens, Virginia, that was always one of my favorite places to go.
That's big guy friendly too. I mean, because I'm still 300 and I could ride those.
Dude, the Loch Ness Monster will forever be one of my favorite roller coasters.
Yes.
Alpengeist, man, they have some great roller coasters there. Big Bad Wolf,
dude.
Riding a roller coaster, man. That's my man. I want to do that again. So.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, when you get to this point, there ain't no if here, because I can tell you're determined and you will do this. When this happens, wherever you decide your first coaster is, if it's Carowinds, Cedar Point, Busch Gardens, I don't give a fuck. I've been to all these places. I love all of them. I will drive to wherever that place is, and I want to jump on a roller coaster and ride side by side with you if you'll have me.
Oh, dude, we do it. We hit every roller coaster in the park, man.
Because I'll tell you,
I'm so down for that.
I'll tell you this.
Man, that's motivation right there.
Dude, I'm telling you right now. So look, what is it? Carowinds, they have this Fury 325. This thing is a badass ride. On my YouTube channel, I have a video of me on that thing. I snuck a GoPro on the ride and recorded it. I wasn't supposed to, but I did. I'll raise my hand to that. They have the Intimidator there. That park is a lot of fun. But when you get to that goal, dude, let me know. You got my number now, so anything you ever need from me, I'm here for you. But when you hit that goal, you let me know, and we're going to get on this coaster. We're going to do it together.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. Like I said, man, I've wanted to do that since I was a kid. I remember, just kid, Dollywood was another one that we used to go to as a kid. And then, like, you get bigger, and you're like, man, that's something I really miss,
Oh, yeah.
I want to be back there, man, more than anybody will know.
And you will be.
Skydiving, man. That's my other one, man.
I
want to jump out of a plane.
Now is that, do you have any kind of like fear of heights or anything like that? Or like you're just ready to do it?
Man, I honestly, I mean, I don't like to fly, but I figured, man, if I can do this weight, I mean, what else can I do? And
yeah.
It's just, I mean, who don't want to go jump out of a plane? I mean, a lot of people think you're crazy, but I mean, I want that thrill, man. If I'm that size, to be able to do that, I want that thrill. I want that. I feel like if I can jump out of a plane, I can do anything. And at this point in time in my life, if I can lose this weight, I can do anything.
Damn right.
And it's not going. I'm not going to stop. I mean, no matter what I'm going to go through, I have my dogs, here that, man, I don't know where I'd be without them right now, especially for leaving and things like that, man. And it's just, I've had my dogs every day, and we go walking every day, and it's just, it's such things that I want to do, little things like that. I want to go hiking. I want to just a lot. I want to be able to go on a plane and not have to buy 2 seats.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
I just want to do a lot of things that I ain't able to do at 523 pounds.
I think that when this podcast comes out, it's going to be very interesting to see kind of where you're at even in June, which I think you'll be very far along. But then you'll save the link and you'll come back a year from now and you'll be like, holy shit, man, look at where we're at now.
Yeah. Oh man, it's sitting in a booth comfortably at a restaurant, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big one. That's a big one.
I mean, they're little goals, man, but I mean, they're what I want to do. So, and ain't nothing going to stop me from getting.
Dude, I love it. I love it. So that's what I want to do. So, we're going to save this podcast for sure. And this is one of the other reasons why I wanted to get you now while you're just getting started, because you're going to be able to listen back to this a year from now, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and you'll be like, holy shit, look what I did. Look what I did.
Man. It's little things to me right now, man. Last year, I have to mow at some of the post offices here because that's where I work. I work at the post office.
Yeah.
And I have to go mow at a couple of them. The big one was the other day. I posted it on there. Last year, I would show up about 1 o'clock in the day, and I would start mowing. And you would have to stop so many times. I'd have to stop. And I'd be there till 6:30 in the evening mowing.
Yeah.
I had to mow it the other day for the first time. Grass was a foot high. I do it in like 2 hours and 15 minutes, just burn it up. Didn't stop one time, except to answer a phone call for about 3 minutes. Went right back, finished the whole thing, 1 tank of gas, just killed it in 2 hours and 15 minutes, and used to take me 5-6 hours to do it.
That's awesome.
I mean, I can see a big difference from last year, and what this little bit of walking that I've been doing is really, really, I mean, walking the whole block, and I come back here and I'm really not winded like I would be any other time. Like I'm getting my breathing up. It just feels good, man.
You sleeping better now too?
Oh yeah, a little bit. I mean, what I can. I've always struggled with like a little bit of insomnia. Like I lay down and I just can't sleep. I've always struggled with that.
Right.
I mean, and my nerves here in the past couple of weeks has not been the best either. But I mean, last night I went in there and I was like, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to be awake forever because I had to work this morning, and like by like 11:30, I was out cold.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
I woke up like 4 o'clock in the morning looking for my phone somewhere in the bed, passed out.
Dude, I'm telling you what right now, we've had a great podcast here. I will wrap it up on this, but I'll say this. Throw out your Instagram handle. I want people to go and check you out right now.
Saving my own life _
Okay, saving my own life. There's a lot of meaning behind that. Tell me about how you got to that one.
Man, it's nobody can do it but myself, man. Nobody's going to save me. Nobody's going to lose this weight for me. Nobody's going to do it but me. And I'm the only one that I can count on myself 100% that I've got to do it myself because, again, nobody's going to do it for me.
That's it. Nobody's
I
gonna...
know so many people want to do the surgery thing, and, man, I don't want to go through that. You know, I got to do it for myself. I got to make myself healthy, and I got to save my own life, man, and doing it 1 pound at a time.
Fair enough, brother, and you will. You will. I know you will.
Oh, I know I will.
I can tell just by talking to you, man. I like to think I have one hell of a bullshit detector, and I think you're the real deal. I think you're authentic as authentic comes, and I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about like a year from now, even like when we're at Carowin somewhere recording a podcast in person because you just got off a roller coaster when you're getting that reaction.
Oh yeah, or wrestling show. I mean, I'm down with that
wrestling show.
too.
Yeah, maybe you got another phone Chris Jericho can step on.
Oh man, I mean, like I said, man, I got a friend of mine who's got a podcast, Shane Douglas. He knows a lot of people when it comes to that wrestling world, brother. We can do it up, dude.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, West Virginia. I mean, it's like 3 hours or less. So I'm thinking we're gonna have something happening here at some point. The summer's coming up.
Oh man, dude, I feel it. And again, man, I'm by myself this summer now, so I mean, it's wide open.
Yeah, once we get all this virus shit out of the way. By the way, let me ask you about this before we go. Tell me how you're dealing with all that.
Man, it's a nervous wreck because, like, again, I work for the post office, so I'm essential. I'm at work every day.
Yeah.
Man, it's a pain, man. I mean, we got shower curtains and plexiglass up, and you're wearing a mask every day, and your gloves, and your Lysol, and everything. It's just, man, it's so stressful. It is so stressful. I mean, West Virginia come in is like one of the most highly tested states and one of the most states that have like the least positive cases. But we're trending at only 4% people that are tested or positive in our state.
Right.
And but I mean, it's still just a nervous wreck. I mean, you got to think, because my wife, she did have a comparable immune system. So am I going to go to work and bring something to her and that could, potentially kill her? And I mean, it's just a scary thought, man. It's I have friends of mine that question whether it's even real, but it is real. It is killing people, and
yep,
it's scary for a lot of people. And I just pray for a lot of the people that are out there, like I am, with essential employees that have to go to work and don't have that choice, and nurses and doctors that can't even see their kids because of this stuff. And man, it's hopefully it gets better, man. That's all we can do is pray and come together as a community just to try to fight this stuff.
Amen on that, brother. Amen on that. And on that note, I will say this, saving my own life _ on Instagram. Check out my man, Joe. I had a blast, man. I just want to thank you right here. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your story with me.
Thank you, man. Hey, anytime, man. And like I said, hit me up. We'll talk some wrestling. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely. I'm about to get off here and probably turn on Raw for a little bit before I pass out. So
yeah, I'm gonna go in there and make me some little snack because I haven't really ate too much this evening, and turn on some Raw and watch it with my dogs, man.
There you go, Joe. Well, have a great night, man. Thank you so much, and we'll definitely be in touch, man. I'm excited to see what you do, man.
I appreciate it, brother. You have a good night too.
You too. Take care.
You too.
See ya. Well, there you go. Joe on the podcast, everybody. What a great guy. I'm just so excited for where he's going to go in 2020 and beyond. I'm looking forward to seeing, a year from now, 2 years from now, I play this podcast back and we'll see where he's at. I think he's going to do some amazing things. That's going to do it for me. I will talk to you guys again next week. Thank you so much for your support and listening to the podcast and all that good stuff. And I'll talk to you again very soon.